Yo, 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 what is up? What is up, YouTube boxing family? It is IK right here. I'm back at it with another good live for y'all today. It's been a while. Sorry that I haven't really been able to do what I wanted to do. To have my typical shows that I normally have regularly, but work has kind of caught up to me, and I feel like there's certain times in life where I can't make it to let the show, but whenever I do, I always have a pretty good therapeutic relief from just working. And then, I appreciate, always coming back on and just, doing, what I like to do normally. But yeah, even when I do like achieve my own career goals, I still love, doing what I do here on YouTube to have fun and just enjoy, the content, creation. But yeah, man, let's get right into it. We have a lot to talk about. I have Rolly Romero to talk about. We got Top Rank this weekend, in which nobody's not talking about that. With Janabek, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think Janabek, he's fighting. Yeah, Janabek is fighting this weekend. I know that. But it's kind of funny because everybody's really like just gassing him up. Mr. Kazakh style. Yeah, he's fighting this weekend. He's going up against Steven Butler. And it's just so sad because honestly, no one ever talked about this matchup, but I'll get this matchup out the way. But Steven Butler, that's his opponent that he's fighting. I like Steven a lot because Steven is a damn good fighter. He has twice as many more fights than Janabek. The reason why I like Steven is because he punches real hard. He has a really good, he has a really good like pressure style type of fighting ability. He could definitely fight. The thing about it, like the thing about him is that he has a very interesting fighting style that would make the fight a lot more competitive. But I think the issue with him is that he tends to leave himself wide open in certain exchanges where guys that are defensively technical, like a Janabek, would see the opportunity to crack him. So if Steven, if he can get past that and he can do what he normally does to be the fighter that he is, to be successful, I think he can get the knockout because he is a knockout puncher. He's 32-3. He's been stopped 3 times out of all of his losses, and even though he's been stopped by Ryota Murata, which is really surprising, I find it really surprising that he stopped him. Brandon Cook, which he was good at the time, but he should have never lost to him. And I actually remember what happened to Brandon after that fight. He actually had like an ice bucket thrown at him, and like I'm not even laughing like about that, but that was really sad what happened to that dude. And it kind of sucks that he got basically like blasted by like an ice bucket, if I'm not mistaken, at that fight when he knocked him out. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy how certain fans in the crowd get wild, and that's why you got to be careful when you go to boxing fights sometimes. But um, either way, I think Steven, if he has learned from his deficiencies, from his losses, he can come out on top because he's had some really good notable victories. That being with guys like Joshua Conley and some other dudes like Mark DeLuca, but these aren't obviously the type of matchups that we wanted to see him in. I think Steven could have probably asked for somebody like a lot better, but either way, his resume, will definitely be better if he does get the win over Janabek. And here we got D Hive in the building. What is up, D Hive?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just tired. But yeah. So, what is the topic of discussion tonight?
I got a lot to talk about. We're gonna get top rank out the way. Then after that, we are going to focus on Rolly fight card. I'm not gonna talk about Rolly versus Barroso. But I wanted to talk about what the fights that were gonna happen there, and then we're gonna just talk about Canelo, and then after that, I would probably say, um, oh no, like I wanted to maybe touch a little bit on the Spence and Crawford situation, and maybe some Javante Davis, Devin Haney. Oh, and also the Lomachenko stuff with what Devin Haney said about Lomachenko. He said that he doesn't like Loma. He's gonna stop him.
All right, well, let's get it all out the way at once. So we starting on the top rank card, or we starting with the Rolly? Oh shit, the Rolly card is three fucking fights. I'm looking at the box right.
There's actually more fights on that card.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't. That shit is on Saturday. They haven't added jack shit to the box, but I'm looking at. I see Omar Juarez, Rances Bartolome. Yeah, I see Kenneth Sims and Akhmedov. Yeah, and I see Rolly, but I don't see shit else.
Yeah, I saw more fights that were listed on the Tapology.com.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
site that I use.
All right, well,
But
let's
I don't
go with
understand why
Rolly.
PBC doesn't just update like the card, and therefore we have like an official list of who's going to be on.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really too concerned. I'm not that interested. I assume that Rolly is going to smoke this dude because he should smoke this dude. But, however, he does. This person does have over 20 knockouts, despite the fact that they're 40. So it could be interesting. But
Yeah, I actually saw Barroso, for my birthday out at Miami, and he's not that big of a dude, honestly. I think Rolly should stop him, and he looks like like I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him because I could have easily walked up to him and talked with him, but he's not like your typical fighter that looks like he's still fresh. Well, he's still experienced enough for like a 40-year-old man to be game at 140, but I think Rolly should knock him out. They
yeah,
should. Yeah,
and he looks tired. He looks tired. He looks like he's just boxing because he doesn't really, know what else to do. I mean, he is on. Well, he was on a four-fight winning streak until he lost his very last one, and then Rolly's actually on a four-fight winning streak, which is very interesting. So yeah, and then okay, so I got the whole card up. So we got Starling Castillo. I like Starling. He had a
yeah.
good
Um,
Starling had a good fight against what was that fight that I saw him on last? Where
Otar Aronosian, right?
no, that's not. I mean, that might have been his most recent fight, but I was thinking of a fight. No, not that one. The fight with his fight with Burgos. Ah, yes, his fight
Oh
with
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Juan
yeah, yeah.
Carlos
Juan
Burgos.
Carlos
That was
Burgos.
a that was a banger, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was a very close fight.
He definitely displayed good talents in that fight.
Yeah, so that was cool. I like him. Michael Anguletti. Fuck is this? He just pulling people out their ass. And then they got the Barrientos brothers. They're cool. That one guy whose name is AK-47. Oh yeah, okay. Never mind. I do know Michael Anguletti. Never mind. Or
Yeah,
Anguletti.
yeah. Look, I actually talked with him in the past, and he told me he was supposed to fight a lot sooner. I think that was either on the Charlo Castaño 2 card or the Subriel Matias Ponce card, and I don't know what's been happening with him, but honestly, he should have been more active. Honestly, because it's been what since October since he fought on the Deontay Wilder, Robert Helenius card, and I don't know what's happening with him.
Well, seems that there's a lot of that going around lately. We got Jamal Charlo off reservation. Don't know where the fuck he is. And then, we got the other Charlo still healing his hand. We got Matias looking for a fight. We got Montana Love looking on the comeback. So there's a lot of that going around at the moment. The Barrientos brothers, I'm unfamiliar with their opponents, but they're both brand new. Angel was the one that got smoked by that one guy. I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah, yeah. By that black dude.
the older Barrientos, the one AK-47. Yeah, that was a funny fight. I mean, some people say it got waved off early, but Experience won the day. He, got caught slipping, got on the wrong hook, got set down, and the ref called it. So unfortunate, yeah, it was by
I think
a
it's good. Like I liked watching
by
him fight.
Trayvon Lawson. Yeah,
Honestly, like it kind of made me feel like I was watching him. Like I don't know, like his style suits a good Malik Scott camp of fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's
both of those dudes fight like Mario Barrios from Wish.com. That's basically what I see about him.
yo.
I don't see anything particularly special. There are a couple guys. There are a couple guys who are pretty big for the weight class, and I assume that they're going to make that work. But if they don't develop some better offensive capability and keep their heads off the line, then they're both going to be in trouble. Because how was a dude you were significantly bigger? How does a guy to where you have that big of a reach and height advantage, who is older, relatively limited skill set? How does he have that much access to your chin where you could convincingly get a stoppage? It doesn't make any sense. I know the other one's still undefeated, which is fine, but
Yeah, Chavez, like I like him, but like you said, they look like those type of fighters where if you just up the competition with like guys that know how to box, I think that that skill set gets tuned down a lot more. And no disrespect to the Barrientos twins, but it's just like I understand that PBC is doing a pretty good job trying to let the young guys up, but like you guys should really be calling for some big names right now. Try to get guys that are like rookies, just like you. And I
no,
think
they should not. They should not be requesting any big names at this time. They both need to sit and develop as much as they can before they end up sacrificed to somebody who actually needs it needs a decent showing, because that's all that's going to end up happening with these two. Again, I don't mean to be rude, but that's just based on what I see. Could I be wrong? Sure. Do I think I am? No.
I mean, don't you want to see like young guys like go at it in their careers like early, like
I mean, if they're fighting people on their level, absolutely. But you said big names, so I'm thinking who are these people that you would have them fight that are quote unquote big
oh
names?
no. Like I'm just saying like theoretically in principle like the Barrientos twins should be fighting young guys in their division that are just as good on the come up. That's all. Like guys that are like on like the rookie leading into the veteran, somewhat level.
I mean, well, shit, little what's the name? Little AK-47 over here could barely handle the lateral step, let alone the step up. So I don't know, maybe we should calm down. I mean, Trayvon Larson was supposed to be someone that he definitively outboxed, and he ended up getting cooked. So I mean,
I mean,
I don't.
Trayvon Lawson should have been offered like the rematch.
Hey, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but such is life.
Yeah, it's just
And
wild.
both of these dudes are lightweights, right? The Barrientos brothers, or are they super
Um,
feathers?
Chavez, I think he's at 118. And I think Angel, I think he's at 130. I gotta take a look at it.
Okay. Oh no, these. Okay, no, he's a featherweight. Damn, these are some big ass fucking featherweights.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're making that weight because honestly,
How you
they should.
5'11" at featherweight and still manage to get knocked out? You fucking
Yeah, because like Angel, he should be fighting at welterweight. Like you're obviously killing yourself to make 126, and you shouldn't really be getting knocked out at all.
Well,
Like
that's what happens when you know that you have a limited skill set. You know that you have a limited skill set, and if you go, oh no, they're in the same division. I just looked up Chavez. Yeah, Chavez. They're both featherweights. Yeah, that's what happens when you know you have a limited skill set. If you go up to 135 right now, you'll get smoked. If you go, yeah, like they're screwed. Like if they go too far up, if they go too far north or south, they're gonna get bodied. So yeah, they're hanging out at 126, cutting as much weight as humanly possible, because where are they gonna go realistically? Where are they gonna go? What are they gonna do?
yeah, I mean that's what gets me so pissed off with guys that think like that. But it's like, if you know that you're not that good, it's like why do you keep on boxing then?
I mean, some people that's their life. That's what they want to do. But yeah, I'm not like even at featherweight. Like, shit, who? Because Ray Vargas is still a champion. Yeah, Ray Vargas will beat both their asses. So
Yeah.
I'm not even tripping. I'm not even really tripping off that. And since I got to see the featherweight champs, we got Robeisy Ramirez, we got Laura, and then we got Luis Alberto Lopez. Yeah, these dudes, these are some dudes. I'm not even that high on Raymond Ford, but these are some dudes that Raymond Ford could beat. These are some dudes that Lee Wood could probably beat up. Like, if we're being honest, like I don't think they take any of the champs. Not to mention Brandon Figueroa will cook both these dudes. So I mean, good for them. Wish them well, but womp womp.
So, probably Mauricio Lara would beat them.
Oh yeah, Marisa Lar definitely will both their ass. Yeah, that's not even a question. So yeah, so
Yeah, I don't understand why Lara is fighting Lee Wood in a rematch. Fuck that rematch, man.
because Eddie Hearn. Because I mean, I didn't pick Lee Wood to win the first one, but you know how Hearn is. Let me give my brethren all the opportunities, even when they don't deserve it.
That's just so stupid because it's like, that really defeats like the whole, politicization of rankings and, obviously all that nonsensical crap. And
Yeah, I mean,
actually,
it just stalls people's careers unnecessarily, and it gives people chances they don't deserve. Like Warrington getting all those chances to be a champion again. Warrington doesn't deserve anything. Not only has he lost, but he's lost decisively. He's been knocked
yeah,
smooth
same
out.
same thing. Same
He's
thing
had his
with
ass whooped.
Rolly too.
I mean, well, no one over there. Well, no one over there is particularly fighting, and it's not Rolly's fault that Puyo, PED'd out. I mean,
Yeah, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like by the WBA's rules, like, you're not supposed to re-challenge for like another WBA title after coming off of like a loss, right? Well, championship loss, right?
as far as I'm aware, the super champion of the WBA has a few special privileges. Not to mention that was the biggest fight they could make. Rolly was a top 10 at 140 despite the loss, and I don't believe there's anyone else on that side that they have to offer. So, on the PBC side that they have to offer. So, I think that was just a matter of circumstance.
Yeah,
There are more people that are undeserving. There are people that are less deserving of a title shot than Rolly. I can assure you of that.
yeah. So it's like, like it doesn't take that much to really reclimb back to a title as long as you have the pockets in your in your political hands, you could technically just move anywhere.
I mean, yeah. Look at what's his name? Fucking shit. What was I thinking? Who got ranked unnecessarily? Uh,
Um, Sandor Martin, right?
oh yeah, Tiafimo. No, not Sandro. Tiafimo.
Oh yeah,
Tiafimo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Teofimo, he got ranked top 3 or top 5.
Well, Tiafimo shouldn't have even been in a position to fight for a vacant international title after, first of all, coming off the Lomachenko loss, comes back and fights Kampa for an international belt, and then defends it against Sandor Martin. But then he skipped over Barboza and Liam Perro for not only the international belt but the title shot at Josh Taylor anyway. Those are
Yes,
two, yeah, those are two people that he should be fighting, but he's not.
yeah, like
Or at the
Barbosa,
very least,
deserved that.
those are people that should be that are entitled to fight Josh Taylor, but they're not because Tiafimo. So
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of which, like I actually ran into Teofimo, during the weekend of my birthday in Miami, and I really wanted to ask him that, but I felt like he knew me, and I didn't want to screw up like my night. And he was there along with his father and shit, and it just felt surreal, just like being like around him and shit, because he was just being arrogant and just saying whatever he wanted to say.
Tiafimo is a little bitch. Like, and the reason I don't really care for Tiafimo is because I know dudes like Tiafimo in real life. They talk all this shit, blah 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 blah. When they're actually in your face, when they're actually it's they're right up to you. They try to be nice. They make all these fucking excuses. It's like, how about you just go through life not being a prick all the time?
That's all I'm saying.
It's not the world's fault that you fucking lost. It's you. You weren't that good. Okay, we know the top ranked model, so just shut the fuck up. Stop talking so much. get back in camp and focus, and maybe you can still scratch out of a career instead of being fed to the goddamn lions. Because you sure as hell is not beating a decent. You're not beating the top people at 135, 140, or 147. So I really suggest you keep your voice down before somebody look at you like a meal.
And honestly, like I really wish Devin was there because if Devin was there, that would have been the best night ever. Because at least Devin, I could bring up with him to say, "Hey, Devin, I know BFTB, and guess what? Like, this guy Tio was talking all that smack and blah blah blah, and that would have been the end of the story because it's
Nothing
like,
would have happened. Tiafimo and Devin Haney have met in person multiple times, and Tiafimo doesn't do anything. He either screams "nigga" or he just says, "What happened with the meeting with Bob? What happened at the meeting with Bob?" Well, that's all. He's just gonna say that 100 fucking times. He's a goddamn coward. He's a goddamn coward that doesn't want to earn a decent day's pay by doing his fucking job. And every time he goes around and gets his ass beat, all he does is fucking cry. Like I swear, Tiafimo. I don't know what's going on in the household, but both the Tiafimo Junior and Senior act like broads, and that's why I don't even like fucking talk. I don't like talking about them. I don't really don't enjoy watching them that much, and I'm pretty sure Josh Taylor's going to beat his ass. Not just because I don't like Tiafimo Lopez, but because Josh Taylor is a superior fighter, and every time Tiafimo fights southpaws, he has a lot. He struggles. Like he struggles, especially.
yeah, he gets beat up bad.
You can talk about the Lomachenko situation, but toward the end, once Lomachenko realized that he actually wasn't a talented boxer, Lomachenko, actually put the heat on him. But the issue was Lomachenko was too scared to engage, and he lost the initiative. That happens in battle. Sometimes you got to retreat. But anyways, let's the Rolly card is not truly that interesting to me. I may watch it, I may not. It depends on what I get into this weekend. But yeah, I mean, it's just Rolly. I expect him to handle business, and then hopefully Heyman can slide the WBA that cheese, and then they can clear Pollo, and then Rolly and Pollo can square up.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I was gonna say for some of the top ranked talent that's fighting on the undercard for Janabek, um, we got Jason Maloney versus Vincent Astrolabio. That's a really good fight. I think Vincent's gonna.
Maloney isn't Maloney. Didn't Maloney duck Donaire? Is that the right Maloney, or am I
Yeah,
thinking of the other one?
you can say that, but I actually went to Mobox and No Problems channel to comment in the chat with Jason and Jason was saying that he quote unquote was wanting that fight, but for some weird reason, the I guess that the sanction body didn't approve it, or they didn't get that fight made between him and Donaire. But
Hold on. I'm trying to make sure I don't have my Maloney's mixed
yeah,
up.
yeah. Jason Maloney, he fights in the same division as Nonito at 118. I think.
Right. And then
Yeah,
Andrew is the one at 115. Okay, no, yeah, Jason Maloney is a liar because I was actually listening to the WBC convention and they requested to avoid Nonito Donaire.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
asking, yeah, they tried to petition the WBC to allow them to challenge for the belt without fighting Nonito
yeah.
despite his ranking. So no, Jason's a liar. He dug Nonito because Nonito would beat him because
Same
Jason is not
with
special.
Andrew too. Same thing with Andrew, because Nonito, he said, I think he said to Skywalker or me, within a show way back when, and he I think it was either Rachel or Nonito, but I was told by either of them that they were going to test out the waters to go get a belt at 115, and I think Nonito, he said he wanted to go face against Kazuto Ioka, and after that, he wants to go after Andrew Maloney for maybe possible title unification. But I guess in this situation with 118, both of the Maloney brothers, regardless of which way Nonito goes, they're just obviously showing a lot of discretion against him because they know he's a massive threat, to beat them.
I mean, yeah, those two aren't super good. I mean, I mean, they're not anything particularly special. I mean, do they have some entertaining fights? Sure, but they don't particularly have any. They don't shine in any particular area. I mean, they have decent endurance, throw a lot of punches, But I mean, nah, like fucking what's his name? Didn't is it Jason or Andrew the one that got sat down by fucking Inoue?
Uh, it was Jason Maloney. He got knocked out, but you know what?
Yeah, like he dude got cooked. Yeah, so and that's no shame getting cooked by it anyway. But the thing is, Astrolabio is not an easy task. So he might have actually screwed himself, taking less money to still end up losing. So he might still be in some deep
Yeah,
shit.
I think Vincent's gonna beat him simply because he's not. He's like honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Filipino fighters, they're probably the next best talent under, I would say, Mexican fighters, but then you have Black Americans at the very top. But Vincent, in my honest opinion, he's a very dangerous fighter. And on top of that, every time when he hits you, like he walks you down when he hits you. Like he doesn't stop every time when he just throws like a punch. Like he actually loads up properly off of his jab. And every time when I see him create that good sneaky right hand, that he likes to do, which I think he's an orthodox if I'm not mistaken, but he's just a good technical fighter. Like he doesn't come down, like he doesn't come to a fight to throw wild punches. Like he takes his time, and he showed it very well against the Popota fight, where he just basically created that one big shot to beat him, and he did a very good job. And I mean, he has like a pretty decent resume, even though he only got stopped one time back in 2018 against Yuki Kobayashi. But last three fights have been, pretty decent. Well, two fights I would say. With the Rigondeaux fight, which I'm not too sure if that's a credible victory, but the Popota fight, that's a good victory. But yeah, I think Astrolabio, he's definitely gonna shine because I don't think he's gonna give up this big opportunity to just come to lose against a guy like Jason Maloney. And then on top of that, with Andrew Maloney, his brother, he will be on the Haney Lomachenko card, and he's going up against another dangerous fighter in Junto Nakatani, the same dude that unfortunately stopped Angel Tito Acosta, where he broke his nose. But
Yeah, I remember that fight. Junto gonna beat his ass because
yeah,
Junto just got to that division,
Junto
and
Junto
he's one of the
yeah
more skilled fighters.
Junto is an absolute monster, and on top of that, he's so technical. Like he's actually like a really good fighter that nobody doesn't talk about. Like compared to Inoue.
Yeah, no, Nakatani doesn't get any respect. But again, that's because he doesn't have the top ranked marketing machine. Hopefully, after this, because I keep trying to tell dudes, I'm like, they don't always push who is actually the best. And especially when it comes to top rank, if you have the best matchmakers, then that probably means you don't have the best fighters. Because why exactly do you need matchmaking if your fighters are good? You don't.
Yeah,
They'll beat everybody. So yeah, so Nakatani, not that he's 24-0, Nakatani is one of those fighters that he's not, he's not getting his respect right now, but he's definitely going to make some noise, especially since he just moved up. He just moving up to that division. He's gonna whoop the shit out of Maloney.
yeah,
Maloney.
he's gonna beat the living crap out of him. he's gonna yeah. I think he's gonna brutally retire him. But it's like honestly, like if he really wants to go for undisputed, I think this is a perfect opportunity because I think he'll beat the crap out of Franco. I think he'll stop him.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Maloney beat Franco. In the second fight, they lied their way out of a headbutt.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He was
definitely.
crying. He was crying like a little bitch, talking about he got headbutted. But then they watched the tape 3,000 times and nobody could find the headbutt. I'm like, no, your eye got shut because you got popped in it and you're not
Got
good.
blobbed. Got
But
blobbed.
unfortunately, Maloney sucked so much ass that he couldn't on the third fight he couldn't make up the difference and he lost again. So it just it's unfortunate. But I'm looking at this Janabek card right here. So they got Haven Brady Jr., who I'm not super
D'Angelo
high on.
Fuentes, that's a tough ass fight. I'm not gonna lie. He's a tough ass dude.
Yeah, I'm not super high on Haven Brady Jr. based on what I've seen so far. I know he trains out of Bozianus' gym, but he doesn't appear to do anything super well. I mean, he has a good jab and he's well schooled, but outside of that, I'm not sure if he can handle any aggression, and the power output is very low. Gabriel Flores fucking Jr. That's fucking hilarious. They actually had to give him a step down in comp to get his ass whooped.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad fight.
That shit's fucking funny. I
And
I,
for
I remember
34
the Top Rank
years.
was pushing him super duper hard, and he fucked around and got smoked twice.
Yo, Giovanni Cabrera, I heard he's fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz. That's what
Yeah,
I heard.
that could be
Looking
interesting.
forward
He,
to
he
his
could
brother.
he could he could win that one on points if he's careful. Because somebody, again, I have to keep reminding people that Cruz had a loss going into the Tank fight. Somebody else had outboxed him. So you know,
Yeah, I don't think Pitbull he's ever gonna touch a title because, if you can't move like your head and you like you're being touted as like a Mike Tyson type fighter, that's just that's horrible marketing, from the dumb Mexican casuals.
my issue is that he's being marketed as a Mike Tyson, but he doesn't jab. Mike Tyson jabbed a lot.
Yeah, that's what I would. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're not going to win boxing matches. I mean, don't get me wrong, he can knock out anybody, and that's fine. But you're not going to win boxing matches without a jab. That's not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you got Brian Norman Jr. Okay, yeah, he definitely needs to redeem himself after that last performance. Because what the fuck?
Yeah. That
This
Argentinian
guy's
dude.
entire reputation has been staked off giving everyone hell in sparring, but then he gets to the big time and the shit's the bed. That was hilarious.
I mean, this opponent that he has in front of him is actually a pretty decent opponent. Um, he's not the best opponent. He's lost to some top competition like Danielito Zaria, Ruslan Madiev, Alexis Roca, um, and the other two is to some. Oh wait, it's to. Oh wait, yeah, he's 20. He's 24-4. Yeah, he lost to Roca, Carlos Diaz, and then Zaria, and then Madiev. Yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty good fight for him. So I mean, Brian's obviously stepping up the competition, but I don't like the fact that this is an 8 rounder because it's like you're 20 plus fights in, you should be fighting 10 rounders by now.
This isn't a step up. This is probably a step laterally. I understand this might be, and as far as the amount of experience this guy has, I mean, sure, but this is kind of a lateral step. And like you said, it is 8 rounds. So this dude has got almost 20 knockouts out of 23 fights. Yeah, Brian. I mean, and the thing is too, it's not just because he was dealing with marginal opposition. It was because of the mistakes he was making. He won the fight convincingly. I absolutely no issue there. But based on what I've seen some offensive lapses. I've seen some defensive lapses, and we've also seen some gas tank issues. And his last fight was only 8 rounds as well. So that's probably one of the reasons why they're not upgrading to 10 or 12 rounds because the gas tank was sketch.
Yeah.
So so we got to see about all of that. But yeah, again, Brian Norman is someone who, to all these crazy sparring stories, talks about how he's been giving everyone else been giving Tank hell. He wobbled Terrence Crawford, but then he couldn't wobble. He's struggling dealing with this random motherfucker we don't know when it comes to actual ring. So that's why one of the primary reasons I don't really rate sparring stories that highly because you're usually different in the ring.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's more to do with, are you really gonna be calling for like, the big names when it's time to be asked the question like, are you ready for this guy and that guy? But then you're like, oh no, like I'm like 28-0 or 30-0, and I still need to develop. And it's like, dude, like I'm not hoping that's what Brian's gonna be saying. Like, I mean, he's 22 years old, and I just find it really surprising that he has like the proper road to get to the top. But it's like if you're gonna do it if you're gonna make the excuse to say, oh well, you're just gonna fight whoever's being put in front of you through Top Rank, then nah, dude, like you're not touching any title. Like that's really what I'm gonna keep it at best because it's like you know you should really be fighting guys like I'm just spitballing, but let's just say guys like I don't know, maybe Shakram Giasov or fight anybody in the top 50. Like, I mean, I don't see why he
That
can't.
guy's Matchroom, right?
Huh?
That guy's Matchroom you just mentioned, right?
Oh, for yeah, Giasov. Yeah, I think he's with Matchroom. I'm not too sure.
Right. So that's the only reason why that's not gonna happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we no, I need to see some improvement from Brian Norman. Then we got the young Vargas. One of the Vargas, the three Vargas boys. I am highest on the older one. I think the middle one sucks ass, to be honest, and the youngest one
yeah.
is
I don't think Emiliano's that good.
yeah. The middle one sucks ass, but uh, the older and the younger one are kind of solid. So we'll see what's going on with them. But when people start, the guy gets one left hook off, and people already start making De La Hoya comparisons. It's like the same shit they do with Ryan Garcia. Oh my god, look, it's De La Hoya. It's like no, no. Like, stop. Not everyone. I don't. I mean, y'all gotta let these kids be themselves instead of trying to attach their name to a grade. Like, it's really annoying. And what's funny, and you know what's funny? Ironically enough, no one has said a fighter fights like Canelo, even though Canelo looks pretty regular for the most part. There are probably a bunch of unnamed Mexicans that fight similar to how Canelo fights. But
Yeah,
no one ever says, "Oh my God, he looks like Canelo in there," because it's just funny. But then they'll say some random dude like Ryan Garcia looks like De La Hoya, like based off of what? How?
yeah. It's just pathetic, and it's just like the thing about it is like I don't care what anyone says to me to say like, oh well, you don't study let the fighter style, you don't do this with certain fighters, and it's like I don't care what anyone says about my own take on certain fighters. It's just like if I don't think you're that good, then I'm not going to be talking about you. If I think you're good and I think you can beat a lot of these dudes, then I'm going to be talking about you. And in regards to guys like Amado Vargas and the rest of the Vargas brothers, like, what are you guys are doing in your careers to make yourself notable, in your divisions? And, like my problem with the Vargas brothers is like, they're they're basically going through like the Ryan Garcia route. They're using social media to uplift their careers, but then once it's time to actually face some deadly competition, then I don't see them really making it that far because all they're gonna say is that, oh well, what have they done in their careers to get to my to get to a fight with me? It's like, nah, dude, like you're a professional fighter. You need to stop making excuses. It's either sink or swim. And uh I was gonna say with the whole Canelo Alvarez thing, like I was making like a good point the other day to somebody to say that Canelo, he should have he should have been got all the best fighters under his resume because it's like if anybody wants to make a comparison to Canelo, it has to be in a sense where if he was fighting the best competition and you're fighting the best competition, and if your style emulates a little bit like his, then that's how people say like, oh, this guy looks like that fighter because they're fighting good competition to emulate the style of a throwback fighter. So that's my take.
I mean, like these dudes are at a stage in their careers where they're actively trying to assess how good they really are. Both their father and their promoter are trying to take them easy because number one, they have the potential to assume some of their father's star power, and number two, you don't want to send out your crown, your jewels. You don't want to send out jewels that you're creating out in the field too early, take a burn, they get smoked, and they get exposed early. That's what happened with Gabriel Flores Jr. That represents a massive depreciation on an investment that you put in. So right now they're cool. I don't really want to hear their names in the mainstream. They're all just at a point where they're trying to see how individually good they all are. As we can see, the middle one it clearly isn't as talented as the other two. I personally think that the oldest one shows the most skill, but a lot of the common assumption is that the youngest one is the best. Well, fortunately for us, they're at a period in their careers where nobody has to give a shit. Because I tell you, I don't. And honestly, I'm not even really optimistic because look at the kids of all the famous boxers. Look at the fucking kids. They all suck. Connor Ben, he sucks. Eubank Jr., he sucks. Rockman Jr., he sucks. Tommy Morrison Jr. not that great. Ali's fucking grandson is trash. Evan Holyfield is god awful. Needs to just stop boxing in general. So all these dudes all these dudes are not good. Like they're almost never good. So I mean, you want to if you want to say these three are going to be the next thing, that's fine. But then again, we may never get a chance to see if they're actually good or not because we know how the marketing system works. We know how it works with these dudes. Like I said, fucking you had people based off of absolutely nothing convinced that Ryan Garcia was some kind of fucking De La Hoya, modern De La Hoya equivalent, and it never made any sense. But anyways,
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
I ain't gonna trip off of that.
Speaking of Ryan Garcia, I actually heard that he's trying to go back with Canelo's camp with Eddie Reynoso.
Yeah, probably to hop on some steroids because he probably needs it.
Yeah, man. If he does that, then I'm really gonna be disrespecting the hell out of him more. So
I mean, it's their relationship is probably what I assumed it was. Canelo and Reynoso were in there having him work, doing things he wasn't accustomed to, and he left because he's lazy. It's the same as why Austin Williams left Coach Cunningham because Cunningham was having you work real hard, and you probably didn't like all that, so therefore you wanted an easier experience with a camp full of yes men. And Joe Goosen was over there talking about, oh, he's very difficult to coach, and he doesn't take his own advice. He thinks he knows. It's like, okay, so that just tells me that you're a yes man, and you're just happy you're getting the paycheck. It's pretty much it. You're not really concerned about his development. You're not really concerned about if he can actually win this fight, which most anybody who knows boxing knew that he fucking couldn't. So, I feel that maybe he's either going back there for a little bit of a chemical advantage, or maybe he realized that their camp is desperately what he needed. Even though the Reynoso camp is not some bastion of boxing intelligence, it's 2023 and Reynoso's still crying like a little bitch about how black fighters won't hold still and let his fighters hit him. Like, bro, the fact that you've been in boxing this long, you have the experience that you have, and you haven't adapted your training system means you suck. You suck as a coach. You're limited. If there is an ethnicity of fighter that your fighters cannot manage to overcome because of your lame ass training system, then that's on you. Got Valdez still throwing those same lame ass combos at the aqua bag. Like, dude, get out of here.
and if Adam Lopez knocks him out in the rematch, I'm gonna be happy for him.
Yeah, I like Blue Nose. I like Blue Nose. I like watching him fight. He's very entertaining. He's just
I really
like
wish PBC kept him, man, because he's such a good fighter, man. Like that's why that I appreciated him fighting Abraham Nova because that was such a good style matchup that should have happened like years ago. Like,
Blue Nose is not that good with all due respect. He's
yeah,
cool. He's cool, but the thing is, not only does he lack power for his fighting style, but he has a lot of defensive holes in his game. So that's that's a good release. Take a look at that one though.
yeah. I mean, I get your point. It's just more like for me, like I have like the wrestler mindset to just say like like it shouldn't matter where you are in your career, like depending on like certain boundaries of like you not being good versus other people really being extremely good. I think as far as like comparable to like what you see in MMA, like people don't care about I guess like the win loss ratio as much, and therefore fighters can actually like appreciate good fights. Even if even if they know that this one fighter is just gonna beat everyone's ass, and then just say like, oh well, that's really how it goes. But like I just find it surreal because it's like you got guys in like the UFC like Derek Lewis getting stopped, and he could just come right back and get himself like a big fight. Versus in boxing, that's just like a whole different story.
Well, I mean, that's true. Boxing fans are incredibly fickle because multiple reasons. One, the fan base is younger. Two, it's more interactive through social media, which causes a lot of narratives to be spin. But I think one of the major things is that when it comes to mixed martial arts, there are more paths to victory than there are boxing. So basically, what I mean to say is that in MMA, luck plays a bigger factor than in boxing. In
Yeah.
boxing, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some times where punches come out of nowhere and it's just you happen to knock someone out. But 9 times out of 10, when there are fewer paths to victory, it's more likely that the person that should have won the fight is going to win the fight. So it's like, 12 round slugfest, where one person is clearly dominant. That's a definitive victory, no rematch necessary. Whereas in MMA, at the opening bell, someone could run in, do one flip, and get like a lucky pinky ankle lock and end the fight. So it's like the dude's not even hurt. You just locked his ankle, and he didn't want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the dude's not even actually hurt. You just locked his ankle and he had to tap out, but he's perfectly fine. No dental bills, no brain damage, nothing. You just rolled in, got him in a weird submission hold, and then the fight was over. So it's there are more paths to victory in boxing. Therefore, luck plays in a bigger factor. Therefore, people give more grace to people who lose MMA fights, especially if it's not a knockout. If it's like a weird submission, because there are a lot of situations where one person is clearly dominating the fight, and then boom, next thing you know, it's over with. I mean, that happens in boxing, but in MMA, it's much more common to where like the odds should always be closer than boxing because literally anything can happen. Whereas in boxing, 9 times out of 10, it's going to go the way you thought it was going to go. MMA, literally anything could fucking happen. Anything.
Yeah.
You can just the last second someone gets a lucky kickoff, done.
Yeah, it's so wild. Um, I was gonna talk about with other fights that are happening. Oh yeah. Like I wanted to talk about the Haney Lomachenko stuff, and you know what Devin Haney said about Lomachenko. He said, "I don't like Loma. Like I'm gonna stop him and beat him up badly."
Well, I hope that's the situation. One thing I will say is that I understand how Lomachenko's been marketed, and because they show you all that Uber, playing chess and doing all these weird board games and mind games, he's downloading data. Lomachenko is not a pure boxer. Lomachenko is not a boxing purist. Lomachenko is just a pressure fighter. He's your regular southpaw pressure fighter. Now, does he show an above average skill level? Sure. But that's why people are shocked when he gets beat up by people like Salido and Tiafimo, who are vastly inferior boxers,
Yeah,
because he is just, in fact, a pressure fighter. And he's, with all there's, he's small, all things considered. He is kind of small, and he's predictable because people keep saying, "Oh, he shows all these angles." Da 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 da. He charges in behind the one. And then he pivots to his right off the two because it's on the left side of an orthodox fighter. And everyone knows that usually when it comes to orthodox fighters, unless you're someone like Tito Trinidad or Oscar De La Hoya, your left side is your weak side. So he just pivots there, gets to the side of them, and then shoots off as many hooks to the body and the head at the same time. And then he also presses forward while he's punching to catch you off balance and really push you down, but the referee will score a knockdown. So that's basically his primary strategy. If you can neutralize that and then neutralize his straight left, you pretty much win the fight. I mean, that's what I see happening because those are his two biggest weapons: charging in, pushing you, and then the straight left. That's it. That's the southpaw's bread and butter on orthodox fighter. Getting on the inside and then straight left. That's it. Because most people, it's a lack of orthodox experience. People automatically overrate southpaws out of nowhere when really it's just the reality that most orthodox fighters have very little southpaw experience because there are just very few southpaws.
yeah. Because I was gonna say like I study like a lot of southpaw film, and every time when I work on technique, like I follow like guys like Spence and those guys a lot. But for Lomachenko, I don't study him because I don't think he's a really good southpaw. I think he's really trash, and I don't think what people think out of him to be this super iconic, like technical, pure boxer, puncher, whatever people want to say. Honestly, like I think he's just like your typical dirty, Eastern European type of fighter. And the thing about him is just like he's been doing this for quite a long time, where nobody's been able to really press on Lomachenko the way that you would expect any other regular fighter to do. And I just find it weird when people talk about all these matchups that Lomachenko could win in, like a Gervonta Tank Davis or any big name fighter that we've been wanting to see Lomachenko in. They don't acknowledge that the fact that Lomachenko he's not a heavily skilled southpaw. And the thing is like he hasn't fought as many southpaws in his career, and he's been fighting guys that are stylistically easy enough for him to beat. So honestly, when you put him up there against a guy that knows how to fight, I don't think he's that good. And I think honestly, like if I was even fighting him, like I think like what I would do is that I would break him to his body because every time when he gets hit to the body, he shows a lot of discomfort. He shows a lot of mental distress. And then once you break that left hand that he likes to throw, and you take that advantage away with his jab too, Lomachenko he basically shells up. He does it every single time when fighters press back, up against him. And the best fights that showed it with Orlando Salido and Teofimo Lopez. But I think like the thing is like, even if you had like, any other skilled southpaw that knows his tricks, he gets beat, 9 times out of 10.
Well, I'm going to disagree. I don't think that he lacks skill. I don't think that's it. Do I think that people overrate his skill set because of what they've seen, trying to describe him as some sort of, Mayweather S type fighter? Absolutely.
Yeah,
Lomachenko is not too far removed from things that we have seen. But I'm not going to say he doesn't have skill. He does have skill. He's very defensively responsible. He's very fast, has good reflexes, and he has a good eye for not only seeing but capitalizing on openings. So I'm not going to go as far as to say that he's not skilled, but however, there are a lot of defensive lapses. There are some lapses that can be taken advantage of, and Lomachenko can be timed. He's one of those fighters that fights in a steady rhythm, and he's very predictable. And but the thing is, though, a body attack is something that Devin Haney's offensive game plan sorely lacks. He sorely lacks a body attack. He has virtually no body attack whatsoever,
yeah,
outside of maybe the straight right to the gut or the right hook to the to the side of the body. So hopefully that changes. Because if it doesn't, he's going to be in trouble. Because this fight is, I think this fight he has a higher chance of getting robbed than Cambosis for multiple
yeah,
reasons. So we gotta be mindful. We gotta be careful. We gotta keep our eyes on it. But it should be exciting. I am picking Devin Haney to win. I don't think that Devin Haney will stop him. Um, I think that the game plan going in is going to be just to minimize Lomachenko's ability to score. I mean, that's the unless you're going to stop him from the very beginning, that's probably one of the only ways you can actually assure that you're not going to be robbed because that's how I beat Cambosos definitively in Australia. Cambosos just scored so little that they could barely give him rounds because they tried to give Cambosos like 4 rounds that he didn't fucking get off. They really tried. They tried to give Cambosos 4 rounds, and it's like where he hasn't landed jack shit. So where are these magical rounds coming from? So they're gonna try some shit.
yeah. But I think like honestly, like I don't think Devin's gonna stop, Lomachenko. Just simply because like Devin he can hit, but Devin he doesn't he doesn't tend to be this guy that I see that has deadly hands. Like he has sneaky power, but his shots are not as like very ferocious compared to like Wilder or Tank. And I
Well,
think
well, nobody punches like those two. That's a bad. I understand what you're saying, but that's a bad comparison because nobody punches like them.
yeah,
Even better be if doesn't punch like them. Better be if needs 2 3 shots to get you down, and even then, better be if doesn't usually knock you unconscious. He just hits you upside the head, and you're like holding the back of your head. But
yeah,
Wilder and Tank have like weird, freaky Ernie Shavers, George Foreman type power where you just sleep or you just lose all your senses. So I wouldn't, yeah. So those are bad comparisons because nobody in boxing punches like those.
yeah, definitely. Um, I don't know. It's just like more like I guess like my question to you is like if Devin Haney was like Wilder and Tank to just blow through everyone out with his power, but he was good at boxing. Like, would you say, like this matchup between him and Loma would not be fair?
I mean, yeah. If you allow Devin Haney to keep his current skill set and then give him the power of a Wilder or a Tank, yeah, Lomachenko wouldn't last 3 rounds. He would get bodied. He'd be destroyed. Because Devin Haney is one of the more skilled boxers in all of boxing, and then you add ridiculous power to it. Yeah, Lomachenko would be out of there in 5 seconds. I mean, it
Yeah,
literally wouldn't go anywhere. It'd basically be like fighting lightweight Tommy Hearns.
yeah,
Yeah, he would get bodied like fucking Duran. He would just tap tap bang and he's out of there.
boom, boom. Yeah. Yeah, because like every time when I feel my shots, every time when I'm like throwing punches, like you could feel like the power in your hands. Like I just think like there's certain fighters out there where they don't like exert enough of their power, and then it's like once they see how deadly of like a shot that you could generate, it's like it's like physics and motion, honestly.
I mean, some fighters are just not going to develop punching power. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what kind of exercise they do. Some people just don't have that gift. Knockouts, a lot of the time, they come from timing and technique, but sometimes it is just raw force application. And if you can't generate the force necessary on target when the time comes to get knockouts, you won't get them. I mean, look at fighters like Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington got like over 30 fights, damn near 30, I think damn near 30 dubs, but he's only got like 8 knockouts. So just some people don't have that talent. Some people don't have that skill. I mean, look at Adam Lopez. Adam Lopez is vicious, throws a lot of punches, but he has incredibly limited punching power. That's
Yeah,
just that's just the reality of that's just his reality. That's the reality of his situation. So not everyone is going to be endowed with that gift.
yeah, but it's not all like about power. It's just this is boxing at the end of the day, so it's not like power is like the number one thing to have to be great in the sport. Like it's just all about having the best boxing fundamentals to dominate the sport.
Well, I mean, it all depends on who your opponent is. It all depends on who you're going to be fighting. So, in some situations, if you don't have a power bailout, you're going to be in deep shit. In other situations, you don't actually need it. So, it just depends. It just depends on the situation. In this particular set of circumstances, some power would be nice because Lomachenko's the type of guy to where if you don't give him an incentive to back up, he's just gonna run and try to trample all over you like he did with Comey. Comey didn't really give him any incentive to back up, and he didn't. And Comey was losing regardless, but he just ended up doubling the punishment and getting the shit beat out of him. So Lomachenko is definitely one of those people where it would be good to have power, but if you don't, it is perfectly possible to still be aggressive enough to keep him up off you because Jermaine Ortiz is not a power puncher. Jermaine Ortiz is not a power puncher either, but he gave Loma all he can handle. So
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of Jermaine, he has like another tough test in front of him with Humberto Galindo, in which no one heard of him when he dropped Raymond Murataya in his last fight. So I think like I don't know, like I think personally, in my opinion, like if you keep challenging yourself against all the best styles, like it just doesn't matter like how much you need to get better with your power or like anything that makes you look flashy in the ring. Like as long as you get like the best improvements to like increase your chances to win more convincingly, then that should be more than enough to attempt to be great in the sport.
mm, um, well, I don't understand. I didn't understand that point. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah, I can hear.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
no, I was. Can you explain? I didn't understand what you said.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, like as long as you keep like urging yourself to upgrade the competition, and you are eager to learn from those tough fights, regardless if you win, lose, or draw, like doesn't that like give you that motivation more to say, okay, even though that I don't have these certain skills that I do want, I should keep myself in the proper loophole of being in there with like the top notch opposition to keep your skills in check, so therefore you know what to do in order to achieve possible greatness for the sport.
Not if you keep getting beat up. I'll tell you that. Not if you keep getting beat up, because not only are you taking years off of your life for Not only taking years off of your life for very limited results, but ultimately your skills aren't going to develop if you don't start experiencing any success because you're consistently unaware of what to build off of. So
Yeah.
no, it's not always a situation. If you get put in with some mediocre, if you get put in with some mediocre competition, and you get your ass absolutely torn out the frame, like Gabe Flores Jr. Oh fuck no! Like Gabe Flores Jr. is a dude who probably just
I'm like hang it up.
yeah, he probably needs to just enroll in community college because who is he beating? His chin is clearly unreliable. He does not have enough power to fight the way he fights. His skill set isn't defensively good enough to keep real punches off of him. So it's like it's not going to be a good situation. The same as a Josue Vargas. Josue Vargas just needs to get the fuck up out of here. He's the dude. Like, dude, you're not good. And sometimes that happens. It's like for me, I would love to be an astronaut, but I'm not good at math, and I learned that very early on in life. Now, do I have enough mathematical knowledge to be able to survive and successfully do my job? Sure. Do I am I good enough at math to be a fucking astronaut? No, I'm not. These are just things you got to come to terms with.
Yeah, it's just not part of like it's not something that you're naturally skilled at.
Yeah, it's not in the cards. So either these dudes are going to have to be like Jaime Munguia and lead the most protected lives humanly possible, or they're just gonna get destroyed and end up like Gabe Rosado. So it's really their choice. Like no, I'm just like it is what it is. It really just is what it is.
So it's like sink or swim.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, well, shit, yeah. I mean, well, they've already been exposed as not being able to swim. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like it's just surprising because it's like for the fighters that are good in boxing, like they're not rushing their careers and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing to be good. Like they're finding like the right oppositional increases in competition to be good. Like for example, with Frank Martin, like he wants to fight Williams Zepeda next, and theoretically in principle, can we say that a Frank Martin development of his career is way better than Williams Zepeda's career as far as like building up a fighter?
I'm not gonna say their careers are super far apart. I mean, don't get me wrong. Martin did clear Michelle Rivera, and that's a good win. But Zepeda fought Jojo Diaz, who's cool. But I'd say it's pretty similar because Jojo Diaz had been beaten. He's a smaller guy, and then Michelle Rivera has shown vulnerabilities because he'd been dropped and nearly stopped by a guy whose name I can't even remember at the moment. So they're both in good spots. I don't think one has been particularly developed better than the other, even though Frank Martin has the more high profile exposure because he's attached to Errol Spence Jr. But yeah, no, I mean they're at the same points in their careers, and it would be a good fight. But I don't think that De La Hoya would do that to him at this time because I think Frank Martin would beat his ass. But uh, hey, if it happens, great. I personally think that they'll probably feed what's that kid's name, fucking Kid Austin, to Zepeda before anything because that's what they're
Oh
doing.
yeah.
Because that kid doesn't deserve a top 10 WBA spot, and somehow he's there. So that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're fattening Kid Austin up to be a sacrifice to win Zepeda.
Yeah. Yeah, like I like Floyd, but I think Floyd's just walking into like the landmine slowly. But huge big shout out to Giovanni's brother in the chat. This is Joshua Cabrera. Um, he was like the person that actually relayed the information to BFTB on his channel for Cabron, like a Cabrera versus Pitbull Cruz in July, in which actually it kind of makes me think that's on the Mario Barrios versus your Dennis Ugas undercard because last time
That fight's being made.
yeah, because I heard Ugas and Barrios they're supposed to fight in July. That's what I heard.
Mm, mm. I guess that's a decent comeback fight for Ugas. See
Oh,
where
okay.
he's at.
Yeah, Josh is working, but okay.
Mm, Couple of
Yeah,
fucking, couple of fucking bozos. Oh well, that's fine.
Yeah. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. Um. I can't wait for the fight. I think the card. I think as far as Pitbull and Cabrera. I'd like to see what happens in that matchup. I think Gio's gonna have like a tough fight in front of him, but it's gonna it's like I think he can beat Pitbull.
Well, like I said, I mean, if he's light on his feet, maintains an active jab, stays his ass off the ropes, he can do some damage. Because, like I said, Pitbull Cruz has been outboxed by people lesser than Tank. And honestly, I kind of thought he lost to Romero, if we're being honest. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's that Argentinian dude that you're talking about that fought Pitbull in the past, right?
hmm I thought Pitbull lost that one as well because he barely landed anything. But what do I know?
Yeah. Um. Yeah, like I was gonna switch topics and ask about the whatchamacallit, this other good matchup that's on the Rolly versus Barroso card. Rancis Barthélemy versus Omar Juarez, and Kenneth Sims versus Bakhtir Akhmedov.
Well, Batir Akhmedov is the guy who people say allegedly beat Barrios. He slapped the shit out of Barrios, even though he got knocked down twice. Um, I mean, Sims is good. Sims is good, man. He's been the prospect killer. He's been snatching people's undefeated records. I personally like Sims. I think he has all the skills necessary. I'm not sure how much because Batir is a southpaw, right?
Uh, yeah, I think so. I'm
Yeah,
checking his box right
sure.
now.
I'm not sure how much
Yeah, he's
experience.
a southpaw. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much experience Kenneth Sims has with an aggressive southpaw, especially one that's actually as skilled as Akhmedov. So that's pretty tough to call. I'd have to watch. I'd have to watch a little bit more tape before before that situation, depending on what Sims is bringing to the table. But hmm, yeah, that fight is a little tough. I'll probably wait to call that one probably tomorrow.
yeah,
Uh,
because I think Kenneth Sims is good, but we haven't seen him get hurt by a deadly puncher, and I think Bakhtir he can hit, and he's a very difficult southpaw. I don't think Kenneth is the type of guy to really scale with a guy of his caliber. But if he's able to handle him, it's not it's not going to be an easy fight because they're pretty much not that far off in the style mesh. But I think Bakhtir, the only disadvantages he's going to have is the height and reach advantage.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and also too because considering how much work Akhmedov put in on Barrios, who had the size and reach advantage, I don't think that's something that bothers him. But and Sims himself is not undefeated. He is a beatable fighter. So we shall see, man. It's close. I'm kind of leaning Akhmedov. I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see.
Yeah, shout out to Joshua Cabrera. He said Sims got this. He sparred his brother Gio in Chicago. Kenneth is very good against Southpaw. Sparred Manny Pacquiao for Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely take the word for it. The only reason why I even just say that is just because like Bakhtir, even though he had some questionable losses, um, he's still coming out of his way, like lasting dudes out. And actually, uh, honestly, I don't understand why nobody's not talking about this, but Ismael Barroso, that's the same guy that got knocked out by Bakhtir Akhmedov. So honestly, Akhmedov, he should really be higher at the world title stage to really get his shot against a guy like Rolly Romero right now, or be closer to a title. Well, he should have won against Puello, but that's like a questionable decision.
Who should have beat Puello?
Bakhtiar Akhmedov. Like it's questionable. Like I'm not saying, he should have won, but I think but the fight was neck and neck.
I don't know if I'm gonna say he should have won, but I understand.
Yeah. I mean, they should have at least had like the rematch. I think the rematch would have been better.
I mean, hindsight is 2020, but sometimes there are too many rematches. Like even if it isn't in a knockout, sometimes it's a very definitive one side, one way traffic, and that's just too much in the rematch problems. But
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah. Look, Josh made a good point here. He said both Sims and his opponent are ranked higher in BoxRec compared to Rolly and Barroso. But yeah, that makes a good point because I mean, Kenneth Sims, like, he should have really been given his opportunity with bigger names already at 140. But I don't understand like why Rolly even made like the point to say that 140 is like not an interesting division. But it's like, you do have some good guys in the division that are fighting, but it's kind of like it's kind of like a half truth to it because it's like, not a lot of guys really want to like sacrifice themselves to good tough competition. But I mean, to a guy like Kenneth Sims fighting Batir Akhmedov, this makes the division a lot more interesting now.
You talking about 140?
Yeah, for 140.
You know, people keep talking about how big super lightweight is, but the reality of the situation is that outside of the top five guys, there's not really as much talent as people say at 140. Okay, you got Josh Taylor, you got Teofimo Lopez, you got Gary Antoine Russell, you got I mean, they might have Jermaine Ortiz depending on if he stays or if he goes. The same with Devin Haney. You got Subra Matias, and then you got Regis Prograis. Outside of those five dudes, it's not extremely competitive. I mean, who you got? Guys like Barboza. I'm sorry, but Barboza isn't special. Barboza is not some amazing special fighter that I think. No, he's just Barboza. You got Barboza, Perro, random other dudes. So yeah, I think it's just.
Russell.
Well, I already said his name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just a situation where it's trying to get some shine, trying to get some promotion, but it's like no, we know these people and we support them if they were just actively fighting again. Yeah. But outside of like I said, outside of the top five, it's not like a super duper competitive division to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think honestly, 140 is like a boot camp division before the welterweight division. The reason why I say that is because the welterweight division, in my opinion, is one of the most deadliest divisions next to super welterweight, and I probably say heavyweight, and then after that, you could probably put in maybe light heavy, but like I'll put that as like a low tier division. But yeah, like the most competitive, glamorous divisions in boxing right now. It's 135, 147, 154, and probably heavyweight and maybe light heavyweight. But I wouldn't put super middleweight. I think super middleweight's still developing. And then, obviously middleweight's pretty bad right now. Yeah. But yeah, I think we got everything down. So I could come up with like more topics, but I think I have everything settled. But yeah, if you got anything else before we head out, let me know. Diab, you there?
What's up?
Yeah. Like I was saying, like if you have anything else, like left to say, like because I pretty much said everything that I needed to say.
No, I mean, yeah, like I said, you pretty much covered it. I mean, like my only last thing, like I said, was 140. Outside of those top five dudes, it's not the division people keep saying it is. Like honestly, I think featherweight is a more competitive division because a lot of those dudes have not only fought the best, but they've come back from losses, back in the title position. So I think that featherweight is cool. But outside of that, where there's that we covered all the boxing this upcoming weekend, right?
Yeah, that's about it. Other than that nonsensical YouTube, card, that's gonna happen with
Yeah, because
KSI.
I don't really watch those.
Yeah.
I don't watch those at all. Yeah, no, I don't devote any time to that nonsense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's about it. And obviously, we got Haney Lomachenko for next week. So
Yes,
um,
we're gonna have to find some good hot wings for that.
yeah, definitely. Like I'm gonna have like a pretty good celebration for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got anything else, then I'll sign off.
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me on. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe, and I'm out.
All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. All right. All right. Thank you guys. Shout out to Joshua Cabrera. He is the brother of Giovanni Cabrera. Um, very, very good insider information for those of you that don't know. I saw him talk on BFTV's channel. So huge, big shout out to him. Yeah. You never know who will be coming up and stuff with the YouTube chat because there's like a lot of interesting people that be coming into the YouTube spaces and yeah, like I said, like who knows, I could be having David Moreau on one day and this whole chat could be lit up right now. But either way, that's what I do, guys. I be coming out, bringing up, my random topics that I like to talk, and yeah, that's very much it. So hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it, yo. So thank you guys very much. Here is the outro. I will see you guys later. Peace, love, liberty, happiness. And here's the outro. Shout out to the mighty, mighty LDBC TWT family. And I will see you guys later. Peace out. Here's the outro and goodbye.